This program has been brought to you by Durango Party Rental. We put it all together perfectly.
The La Plata Electric Association hopes to find a way to incorporate more renewable energy resources in its power mix without raising rates on your utility bill. The LPEA Board of Directors recently appointed a long-term strategies committee to explore how the cooperative can provide its members with reliable, safe, and affordable renewable energy through 2050 and beyond. La Plata Electric currently is under contract through the year 2050 to purchase most of its electrical power from the Tri-State Generating and Transmission Cooperative. Tri-State produces the majority of its energy from coal-burning generating stations, and it distributes that energy to more than 40 member cooperatives throughout the Rocky Mountain West. However, renewable energy advocates have pressured La Plata Electric in recent years to end its contract with Tri-State and to purchase all of its energy from sustainable resources like solar and wind power. Although La Plata Electric buys solar energy from nearly 1,000 residential users and several privately owned solar gardens, the cost of purchasing all its energy from renewables could force the co-op to raise its rates. That's because La Plata Electric would have to pay off its share of Tri-State's debt from building power plants and transmission lines, and it would have to invest in more renewable energy infrastructure. The board appointed the Long-Term Strategies Committee to study the pros and cons of that scenario and others.
So our board has really taken actions to reflect what our members want and expect, but we also have members that attend our meeting that have a concern over the cost of electricity. And so far what we've seen is there's tended to be, in the initial stages of deployment, higher costs for solar. But now what we're seeing are solar costs come down. So that's part of the strategy that we really need to tap into, is how do we deploy additional renewables that lowers our incremental cost of electricity?
The committee will present a proposed list of alternatives to study at the board's regular meeting in February. Once approved, the committee will evaluate alternatives for possible costs, risks and benefits, legal obligations, and likely outcomes for the board to consider. Dre Spring predicted a lively debate among the membership.
We had 27% of our members voted in our last election. The most I've ever experienced at the other 4 co-ops where I've worked was 6%. So we have a lot of engagement here, and there's a lot of expectations that are expressed, and our governance needs to try to represent all of those varied interests, and I love that.
For more information about the Long-Term Strategy Committee, visit lpea.coop.